Hi guys, this is Gosha, Cosmic Agency, and just a quick video, a few words, a few thoughts and sensations about the topic of David Wilcock's strange suicide. And I wasn't going to make the video about this at all, actually, just perhaps some kind of a tribute post in writing like I usually do, but I do have to say that this situation has affected me, has moved me quite a bit, and I do want to make this in the video format to sort of acknowledge David Wilcock's work and his influence in my life, throughout my life. I'm not going to talk about all these different theories that are circulating about the possible disappearance of David Wilcock. You can read about all this yourself. I'm not going to be rehashing. There are a lot of people who are making the videos, and every day there is something new coming out. However, I do have to say this. When I first found out about this, well, it was like a few days ago at night. I remember I texted Robert, I told Matthias, and I was in a complete shock. But like, such a shock that I cannot even describe, because it's a different situation if someone dies when they are sick. And you know, this is different, but the circumstances, and knowing that just 2 days before that he had his life, which I didn't watch at the time. I didn't watch all his videos. Of course, there's just so many, and I don't have much time, but I am going to watch that actually, perhaps. We will see. But yeah, I was in a shock, and even Matthias asked me, like, why are you in such a shock? Well, I don't know. I actually don't know why it affected me so much, but yes, it did. It moved me. It hurt me. Even though I will not say that I agreed with everything David was talking about, or his theories, or his enthusiasm about the disclosure coming out and all this and that. However, David Wilcock was one of the first people that I started watching and following many years ago, together with the Carrie Cassidy and Project Camelot and Bill Ryan, and they were making videos together. And that was one of the first people I was following when I first found out about the extraterrestrial reality. And I remember I was so eager to learn and to follow all this information, and so even though I didn't follow him in the recent years, and I didn't agree with some of the stuff, we have a different vision of things. However, some of that familiarity and that energy and the good feeling that I had from the very beginning many years ago, it still stayed with me towards him. Like this sympathy, this affection, this kind of like a family feeling. I actually sometimes put on his lives on Sundays when I was playing with my dog. Sometimes I play with my dog, I give her attention, and then I would listen to something in the background. So I would put David Wilcock, but mostly not because of what he was saying, but because of the energy that, you know, somehow some kind of familiarity, like a family member, because he was, you know, in my life for such a long time, as one of these first pioneers who were talking about this subject. So I grew very fond of him, even though I didn't agree with some of the things. I didn't have to. I just liked him overall. So when I found out this was such a shock, and it was like really, it really hurt me and touched me, and I just feel very sad for the situation. Whatever scenario this could be, it's sad, because okay, there are scenarios that they took him out. Well, that's tragic and sad. There is, of course, an explanation, an official one, that he just really suicided himself because of the depression and problems in his life. Well, that's, of course, obviously super tragic. And also, if he faked his death, which is also one of the possibilities proposed out there, Well, that's also very sad, even though it would be less sad because he would be alive. But it would be sad that he would have been, that he was pushed to that degree and to that point that he had no other solution but to resort to that. So all of these scenarios, whatever it is, are extremely sad and tragic. It's just unbelievable. And 2 days ago, 2 days before what happened, he was in his life, and yes, he was talking about how he would not kill himself and the suicide is not the way to go, and he was expressing how he was afraid, well, not afraid, but he was concerned about all the scientists missing. So yeah, he wasn't giving any indications, of course, that was on his mind. So I do agree with the people that are saying there was no indication. Well, of course, behind the words you could feel that he was sad, and you could feel that there are issues. Of course, that's undeniable. And some people who are saying no, there was no issues, you could see how jolly he was and frolicking and making jokes. No, you have to look deeper, because many times those kinds of mental issues and depressions, they are deeper than that, and the person is still capable of playing jokes and appearing kind of fine. For example, how many of you really guessed that 2025 was the worst year of my life, emotionally and psychologically and mentally? Did you really see it from my videos? Not that I was faking myself, it's just that some people, I feel me in this case too, are able to go on. It's not like a depression always manifests itself that you cannot really do anything and you're just staying in bed. Yes, but many times you are still able to do your stuff, but on a deeper level you are carrying a lot of hurt and damage, and it's there. So that was for me 2025, and still is. I'm still not healed, even though I'm able to be goofy and make videos and continue with work. So even though David Wilcock seemed fine to many, I could see, and I think many other people too, that he was carrying a lot of burden inside, and he was having some mental issues. But yeah, he did say that he wouldn't do it. So it does seem extremely suspicious. Now, I do not want to offend the family who is claiming that there was no foul play. And I mean, who am I to really know, right? To dare to question that. They would know more, I would say, right? So I apologize right away if I'm going to be a little bit questioning that, but I will say what I feel. And I feel that statement that the family proposed, that family put out, it's available, you can read that family statement. It seemed where they are just talking about David Wilcock's work, about him as a person, and then that he had economic and depression issues, and that there was no foul play. And for anybody going through mental situations, you should seek help. That declaration, only a few days after his death, for me, is a bit strange, because knowing how much David knew, if I was his family member, okay, knowing how much he knew, knowing the death threats he was receiving, right, knowing how much stalked he was, as claimed by many, knowing how many problems he had with many people, and how much delicate information he had, wouldn't you at least consider a possibility that there was something more? Wouldn't that be something David would deserve? Like, I wouldn't right away, like, I'm just saying, if I was a family member, okay, yes, I'm not denying there were no economical problems and mental issues, but there are also other circumstances around that that could have taken advantage of the depressed state of mind and economic situations and use that as an excuse so no one questions anything. But maybe something else happened, and I think it was too soon to declare by the family that there was no foul play. I think he would deserve to at least be investigated, like at least look at the possible. I mean, if there's so many people that also knew him claiming that there is something suspicious, well, maybe there is. Like I'm saying, he would have the right to be given that attention and that investigation. It just, for me, it's like they closed it too soon. It was like a very diplomatic answer from the family. I wouldn't probably dismiss it that easily if someone close to me, even if they had problems, would kill himself. And the way he did it, he called and he said, okay, I'm going to be sitting on the left of my house. Why didn't he just kill himself by himself somewhere alone? Why did he need to have a witness? Why did he need to have witnesses? And also, it was given by the police. The police explained that timeline of what happened. And apparently he said to the cops, I'm sorry I have to put you through this. Do you think that the person, again, I apologize if I'm being too conspirational. Do you really think that the person who is on the verge of killing themselves, about to kill themselves, super depressed to the point that they don't care about their own life, about their community, about their family, about anything anymore, that they would at that moment have a moment of conscience and feel bad for the cops that I'm sorry I have to put you through this? The person in that moment doesn't care about absolutely anything. How would you even have a seed of care toward that cop in that moment if you are in that state of mind that you just want to shatter everything, including yourself, and you just don't care? So that in itself, it's like, it was like, I don't know, it's like staged or something. So I am not dismissing the possibility. I think Carrie Cassidy is talking about that there could have been some kind of a scenario here in which he faked his death. I'm not saying that's how it is. I'm just saying that I'm open to that possibility, because just the way the family dismissed it so fast without even like further investigation, from what I saw, from what I see, from the statement, no foul play. That's it. Like 2 days later. That's too soon to determine that. I mean, like I'm saying, someone who wanted him out, if that's what would have happened, they would have taken advantage of the fact, oh yeah, David is mentally unstable and problematic and he has issues. Everybody's going to believe that, you know, that he killed himself. Let's just go and do it. So I would look into this. If I was a family member, I would not dismiss it so fast. Also, I don't know if you knew, I put it in my Facebook. This is a very strange coincidence. I don't know, there are no coincidences, but actually, Don Elkins, who was channeling Ra, you know, the author of Law of One, from what I understand, he actually died in exactly same situation. He shot himself, suicided himself in 1984 with a gun, also shot himself in the head, also in front of cops, just that it was a longer standoff, and also following a series of mental breakdowns and depression and psychotic episodes. And he was 54. And now David Wilcock, who was 53, who also claimed to have channeled Ra, dies in the same circumstances. What's going on? Or did someone want us to make this connection as if, you know, it's some kind of an entity influencing influencing. I don't know, there's just so many incognitas, and there's just so, people are saying this is a directed energy weapons that could have intensified his pre-existing problems. Definitely he didn't look good in his last life. He looked skinny, and I mean, I could tell that beneath his jokes and smiles there was still there's something. Plus he did say in his X account 3 days before that there were intense things going on that weekend, and that he was canceling his life, which later he did anyway. So because of all these different, you know, contradictions, things that just don't easily add up, I would insist on investigation, because that's, if I was a family member at least, because that's what I think that's what David would deserve. He deserves that. He deserves that. But like I'm saying, just the fact that the very family declaration was so decisive already and so dismissive of any foul play, in itself, that could be an indication of something staged there. Again, I'm sorry to anybody who doesn't agree with me, or to the family members. I don't know. I don't know. But I think David meant so much to everybody, so we all do have the right to express our feelings and our concerns and our thoughts. Like I said, I didn't follow him that much in the recent years, but he's always had this part in my heart, you know, in this awakening journey for many of us. So I do understand if the family, you know, doesn't want to have us all be fueling all these different theories. So again, I apologize, but at the same time, we all do have the right to express what we feel about the subject, because he was part of the community. He wasn't a private person after all. He kind of blended with the community very much, his energy. So I don't know what else to say. Also, Hitler died on the 20th of April. I don't know, as another curious fact. So I just want to say this. Thank you, David, wherever you are. It's sad. It's sad that he wouldn't be part anymore of this ongoing process towards whatever is unfolding. And that's another thing. He was very excited. That's another thing, because a few months ago, I remember I was showing to Matthias one of his titles of his lives, and it was something about the disclosure is happening. Wow, he was excited about it. So why do this at this time? Well, of course, if you have mental problems, you know, at some point you just check out and you just do not care anymore what's around you. But yeah, I definitely do not buy the official explanation. I think there is more behind it. But either way, whatever happened, even if it really was, what they say it was, it's still tragic. It's still a tragic story. It's very strange. So thank you, David. Let's acknowledge him. We didn't have to agree with him. Many people would be saying that he was already spreading false light and all that. But I do believe that in his heart, he is, I don't know, a good person. A good person that really meant well. If he was, you know, misguided by some of the informants or by some kind of information, I don't know. But I think in his heart, in his nucleus, in his essence, he meant well. He received too many attacks throughout the years. That was also kind of cruel. You know, especially after all the situation with Corey Goods, so many people I remember went against him, and I understand you have a right to be against a public person, but I think some of the attacks were going too far. And I remember him on one of the radio shows, something I listened to a long time ago during that whole dispute when he lost the show in Gaia. And I remember he was like sounding sad, and he said, well, you know, I don't understand. I mean, after all, we are all on the same side here. Why so much hatred? And yeah, I did feel like he was genuine in what he said. I mean, he might have been, he might have gone, like I'm saying, to hold views that were different to many, but I think in his heart, he meant well. And that's why he's not deserving this situation, whatever it is. So anyway, thank you guys for watching this, and let's continue. Let's move forward, of course. Until the next video. Bye bye, everybody.